What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of What's the Tea? Bachelorette edition with your girl, Miss Samarachi, where we get into the nitty and the gritty of all things Bachelorette. I hope y'all are excited for this week's episode because I was definitely excited to watch it. So without further ado, let's get into the breakdown. This week was cool. This week was it had a lot of building moments. I feel like these next two episodes are really, everything is about to explode because we started to see things that were happening this week that really, again, are gonna make people reach their tipping point when it really gets to that point. If y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. So as always, I got my little clipboard. I'm gonna go through my notes, and we just gonna vibe out today. Nothing too much, nothing too short. Just just right. First off, we're gonna start with Claire's favorite, Dale. I'm really, he was my number 2 last week, but I'm really starting to not like this kid, and it's because of Claire. Like, literally every 5 seconds, where's Dale? 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 If it's that deep, send these other men home. Like, again, obviously the show is already over and we're watching the recorded version, so we don't know what happens in the future. But she was doing too much, talking about this man, talking about I love him, talking about I want to be with him for the rest of my life. If she ends up with anybody but Dale, she gonna look goofy. You gonna look goofy. Because what are you doing? I'm somebody who I love love. I believe in love. But I don't believe in love at first sight. I believe in lust at first sight. Okay, it's a difference. Love and lust. You see somebody, you like, dang, you look so good. You can be my husband. It's because they look good that you're lusting for them. You don't know nothing about these people. So how you gonna say that's your husband, that you love him already? Sis, you don't even know him. You just met him. He could be a whole serial killer. He could be a catfish. Sis, you don't know him. Sit down. You always, where's Dale? Where's Dale? Every conversation throughout the whole show. Like, you could just see like her body language during some of the scenes. Like, she would be turned to the side, like looking at the men like, oh yeah, with her hands in her legs in her lap. Look, I studied psychology in undergrad, okay? I know how to pick up on body language. And trust me, she's very closed off to these other men. But Dale, busted wide open, okay? So that's going to be an interesting relationship to follow, and how these men, and it's going to be interesting to see how these men start to realize that she really not about them like she about Dale. So I digress, but we 5 minutes into the episode and she already talking about Dale. I'm like, ugh, whatever. Then we get the group date, and again she pressed for Dale. Like, you can see in the with the love languages, physical touch, she's talking about some, oh, I know who this is. Duh, you know who this is. He the tallest one in the house. He like 7 feet tall. You be up in his neck, or on his body, in his throat. Like, in his throat. Of course you gonna know what he smelled like. You be wanting to touch him all the time. If you didn't know what he smelled like, I would really question if you love him, want to be in a relationship with him. Of course you know who that is. Like, what? Then he talking about something. Y'all might as well just get a room. Get a room. Get a room. Y'all doing too much. Y'all are doing too much. Like, but he didn't even really impress me on the group date. Like, when he was talking about, when he was doing the words of affirmation, talking about something. Yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to be, what are you doing, sir? What are you doing? What are you doing? Open your mouth. What is this Birdman's, Rick Ross rubbing hands shit? Like, stop it. Please, chill out. Chill out. So he did not impress me. What I will say is I liked Ben. Ben was my favorite one on the group date. Ben and Riley. Ben, I feel like he really opened up, with the words of affirmation. And I just, again, Ben was in my top 10, so I really like him. But Riley really showed himself, and he showed his ass, but he showed himself on that group date. He definitely topped. And I'm happy he got that rose, even though, she wanted to give it to Dale. But she ain't want to, out herself too much. I do think that these producers really be dragging shit. Because when Riley and I think it was Yusuf got into the argument, I was like, it's not that serious. What are y'all even doing? What are you even arguing about? It's really not that deep. You dragging this fight. The producers had to have said, oh, there's not enough drama that's happened so far, so you gotta drag this fight. Talking about, it's no you and I, it's me and I, it's no us. You don't speak for the group it's never that deep. It's never giving what it was giving. It was never giving. Like, what are you doing?
It's not even giving what y'all said it was supposed to give.
So he definitely did too much. Riley definitely did too much, but I agree that you're supposed to speak for yourself, don't speak for the group, but he dragged it, so that was doing too much. But all in all, the group date was cool. The first group date was cool. Now, the one-on-one was beautiful, honestly. It was really beautiful. It really made me look at Jason in a different light. I really like Jason. I really do. I don't think he was in my top. I don't think that Jason... That's his name, right? Yeah. I don't think that Jason was in my top 5. I gotta look back. But I really, really like him. I like the fact that he was very vulnerable with her. And, you know, it's beautiful that she was able to pick up on the fact that they were very similar in nature and that they hold things in. I'm also like that. I hold a lot in. I'm very much a vault. Like, you think that you have a jackhammer to break these walls down, and there's going to be another wall just for you to go through and a tunnel that you have to get through. So I really like the fact that she was able to help him let go of some things and release, because I do believe that, like, there's power in releasing things and talking through things, especially when you're trying to get into an intimate relationship, or relationship in general, but especially when you know, want to spend the rest of your life with somebody. Like, there are things that you have to release and allow them to help you release, in addition to just being open to, like, talking through things, whether it's with a therapist, whether it's with your spouse, your partner. And so it was beautiful that he was able to do that. But again, it's just frustrating me, because I'm just like, Claire, you are literally putting these men through these things, and you have this man Dale in the back of your mind. So it's just like, I understand that, like, part of the show is, like, you know, again, going on one-on-ones, going on group dates, going on two-on-ones, going out, you know, doing things, getting to know these men. But if you already know who you want, it's just like, why are you putting these men through all of this emotional turmoil of, like, unpacking all of this stuff that they have going on, and then you just gonna pick Dale in the end? Like, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with my spirit. So it's annoying. It's very much annoying. That being said, let's get into this last group date, which was, crazy. Sis been in quarantine for a long time. She said, I'm trying to see some things shake, okay? So I don't blame her. I do not blame her. That being said, I do think they should have gave them their clothes back before they had to walk in the house. Because it was tight, disrespectful, and kind of humiliating to have them walk through the fucking streets. Obviously, nobody else besides producers saw them. But, like, to come back into the house and you just holding your shit and, like, you just, I don't like that. I definitely agree with Yusuf that, like, it was, like, kind of humiliating, like, in a sense. But I do think Yusuf was doing too much. And from the looks of what this next episode is bringing, he really doing too much. Like, I understand you're a father and you wouldn't have done it, but, like, you doing too much. And that goes back to my first episode when I said she should have sent his ass home, because he be doing too much. Like, you dragging it, bro. Like, you doing too much. So I didn't like the fact that he was really, like, going in on Shorty, like, oh, she's disgusted, she's childish, da-da-da. You're doing too much. Yes, it was all in good fun, you know what I'm saying? And you have a right to potentially be upset, but also the men who was in that situation, they're not saying shit, so why are you worried about it? Anyway, next caller. So he annoying. He definitely annoying. He's definitely annoying. Also, it was crazy how Brandon got sent home. And it's funny because, again, Brandon was in my top 10. But what I will say is I knew he was here for his modeling career. Let me tell you something. It's always at least one person who is there for ulterior motives. It's always one person who is there to expand their career. Sometimes there's somebody there that's racist or has had racial tendencies. Like, it's always someone in these categories to bring some drama. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting that she was able to weed him out that quick, but my man's, he did not make it he did not make it easy for himself. He made it very easy for her. Like, oh, he talking about something. Oh, I'm excited to be here because of you. Okay, what do you know about me? Well, you're beautiful. Okay, what else? Well, you're beautiful. Yeah, you didn't make it easy on yourself. Like, you made it very hard for her to keep you around. So I understand why she's saying I'm home. It's just like, okay, if all you can say is I'm beautiful, then why are you here? Because there are men here who obviously did their research. They've seen what I've been through. There's other things that you can say about me besides I'm beautiful, but that's all you're looking at. So you gotta go. So I understand where she was coming from with that. Again, Brandon, that was a homie, but he had to go. He had to go. You know what else has to go, though? You know what else has to go? That thick ass, part the Red Sea, part gap that Gavin had in his hair. Baby. Why? Why you got that thick ass gap in your hairline? Like, oh my God. Yo, when Gavin came on the screen, I said, sir, I was just like, why would you get that part in your head that thick? That thing is as thick as like two of my braids put together. Like, oh my gosh, like that really made me upset. I was just like, I could see your whole scapula. Like, I could see your whole scalp. Like, that shit is glistening because of how thick your part is. Like, that should never be acceptable. That should never, ever be acceptable. Never be acceptable. So that I hope his hair is able to fill in and he can get a little bit better of a part, because that breaks my heart. I hate seeing hairlines like that. I hate it. Anyway, one thing that made me a little bit upset was that I didn't get to see my booski until like midway through this episode. I was like, where's Easy at? Like, where is he? What are y'all doing? Like, stop playing. You know that's who you want to see. Like, what are you doing? But then they show him, and I was like, okay. And he was massaging feet. I said,
baby, the massages will get you in trouble. Trust me.
So, they show my booski at the end. And I will say, between him and Damar, again, just fine. Just fine. I'm sorry, y'all. I like black men. I love black men. Like, I really do. Sue me. I'm rooting for everybody that's black. But it's just a beautiful sight to see. And they are a beautiful sight to look at. And, it's beautiful that they both treat Claire very well, because I'm tired of hearing about Dale. So hopefully, her mind is on another level. Again, this episode was it was cool. It wasn't too much drama. I'm happy she stood up for herself. That was kind of awkward, the fact that nobody jumped up to get a date with her. I was just like, I feel you, sis. Like, that was kind of disrespectful. It's just like, y'all want to be on some bro shit. Like, okay, that's fine. You can go home. Why are you here? You're here to have one-on-one time with me. So if you're not got one-on-one time with me, you can go home. Like, and then, of course, Dale trying to make excuses, talking about that will never happen again. Okay, anyway, sit down somewhere. But again, all in all, this episode was cool. I'm excited to see the next 2 episodes, because I feel like what happened this episode and what is being, the commercials for next episode, it's kind of like the pot started to brew a little bit this episode. I feel like the pot is really starting to it's going to bubble next episode, and that pot, the lid about to blast off that bitch on the 3rd, in the not next week, but the week after. I feel like shit gonna hit the fan in 2 weeks. Hit the fan. I feel like what's gonna happen, boom, because next week they showed that they was in the house together, or they was in a room, they had getaways. I think that either A, they're gonna get a one-on-one next week, or B, he gonna be on a group date, and then he's going to take her away somewhere, because we saw that the boys walked out and said, oh, we're gonna leave, blah 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 blah. How about we all just walk away? So I think that, again, things with Dale are going to heat up, and then in 2 weeks, that's really when shit is going to hit the fan and everything is going to start spilling out. Because again, like, I feel like ABC is notorious for holding on to shit, but I feel like especially because all the drama has already started to unfold, you know, with Youssef sending Brandon home, like all the stuff that's typically happens later on in the season has already started to happen. I think that ABC is really about to push everything to the beginning, the forefront, and shit is about to just blow up. So I'm excited to see what happens. Once again, it's your girl, Miss Amarachi. Tune in every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here for What's the Tea with Miss Amarachi. As always, stay blessed, bold, and beautiful, and make sure that you love on yourself a little bit extra today.